What? Oh, nuts.
You want to mute yourself when you're gonna yell in the other room?
Huh? Okay.
Hey Sean, could you mute yourself when you're in the other room? We're gonna yell.
I
When you're gonna yell.
nuts. No.
Hey
Huh?
everybody.
Hello. Okay.
Hey Sean, could you mute
Welcome.
yourself when you're in the other room?
Welcome. I'm glad to
I'll
be
let
back
all
with
of our
you guys.
videos.
Our normal viewing arrangement. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Our main story, we got the 2K in Rochester that happened last weekend. Congratulations to Mr. Shane Duckworth, the first 2K winner in UFS history.
Walked home with $500 in Rochester CCG store credit that he promptly gave away, I believe.
He gave quite a bit of it away.
Yeah, no, he gave it away to his locals and the people he traveled with.
How did you guys do at the 2K?
Didn't you? Did you get knocked out in the round of 8? Or who did
You
you play
play
against?
against Andrew Force, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah. So I actually it's actually pretty funny. I didn't realize you guys had played in top 8. I actually went 4-2 but missed on tiebreakers, and my 2 losses were Matt Hughes and Andrew Horse. Beat everybody else.
Crazy, crazy. Yeah, it seemed like looking at the top eight, there were quite a lot of upsets. I mean, straight away, Andrew Force beat Hughes. Um, Shane beat Mai. Mai was I think came in fourth place. I mean, Shane came from the bottom half of the bracket to win the whole thing, kind
Yeah.
of like Kim did at the last PTC. So all said and done, I mean, we had a fairly good turnout. We had 30 people show up, which is a little less than I would have liked, but it also, considering that it was in Rochester, and Rochester is very far away from anything, and our airport costs $1 million to fly into.
Yeah.
I was pretty satisfied.
We had a pretty sizable chunk of late cancellations as well
They
that
were
really
too bad.
dearly
Uh,
missed.
we did have
Right
a
now.
surprise group come down from Canada. That was kind of cool. Shout out to
Yeah.
you guys from Hamilton and Mississauga, I think they said it was. They came down and represented the North Country. Well, the
Yeah, I
country
had a
too.
chat with them. I got paired with I can't remember her name. Crap. But I got paired with the person they had who was repping Felicia, and talked with them at length after the first round. It's they all said they really like the game and they're trying to grow it, but I mean, Magic players are pretty entrenched, and also um, apparently this particular group of Magic players aren't the best socially well adjusted types, you know. So it's rough,
That's
but hey.
So, don't want to interrupt you a bit, but trying to figure out. Apparently, my sound wasn't working for a moment there, so I'm just basically talking to see if it works.
Yeah,
And
you're in.
okay,
we hear
um,
you.
you guys hear me. The stream wasn't hearing me for a minute.
Yeah, you've been silent for a little while.
Yeah, but apparently, well, it looked like I was talking.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
aha!
Oops.
Oh, we have a Shane Duckworth on in the chat.
Oh,
Shane
fantastic.
Duckworth.
Say hi to Shane.
Hi, Shane.
Hi, Shane. Build a new deck.
Build a new
Hey,
deck like I am.
post your freaking Proto Man deck. Come on, that'll shut these guys up.
Is it 6 or 7 Proto Man?
The good one.
So 6.
You.
You can believe that if you want.
I'm joking.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Who knows?
I know. He's saying he has burrito power in it.
Burrito up here.
Yeah,
I love it
Chipotle
when
God
burritos up
deck.
here. Oh, but we had a good
Agave.
time. We drank some beer. We had a fire. The venue was very, very nice. I was very happy
Yeah,
with that.
it was. It was a fantastic place to be. I went on the swing set a little bit and made it creak really badly, and I decided to jump off after like 5 swings. But hey, I had a good time.
Yeah, so I mean, all said and done, my thoughts on as far as the turnout and the viability of 2Ks at the end of the weekend, I didn't end up losing that much money, only a few $100, considering that I paid $1,000 for the venue itself, plus the prizing, plus the free beer, plus the play mats, plus the Gemini Min.
Yeah,
So
there wound up being a lot of extra space in that place, and so that could be. I mean, if we had a better beat on that, it could have been optimized. We could have saved a little bit there.
Next
But-
time I won't charge my appearance fee.
well,
That's
So-
fantastic to hear.
that does mean we are in the planning stages of our next 2K.
Where is the next 2K, Sean O'Brien? Do you have a decision yet?
Fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
Viva
Oh man, they
Rock
get so many
Vegas.
tournaments. The World
They do.
Championships, the second ever cash event.
It's almost like it's, well, you know, one of the biggest card game places in the planet or whatnot. Different kind of card games, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Las Vegas makes a lot of sense for a number of reasons. It doesn't suffer from a lot of the disadvantages that Rochester does. For example, you can fly into their airport for less than $1 million. They have a large local play group of, I think at this point, like 50 or 60 people. Shane can correct me if I'm wrong. It's big.
100 players apparently.
100
Nice.
players. That's enough to like really super support a 2K. They have the groups in
Damn.
California who are only a few hours drive away.
If I go play out there, I got to put my big boy pants on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if Rochester
gotta-
shows up to that, they better pull off their knickers.
You mean like when we show up to Worlds?
Kevin will have to
I mean-
put his pants on at all. I'm sorry, but that Lilith deck,
That little deck's amazing.
it's got some parts I like. I did not. I mean,
Kevin-
it faked me out and got me one game when he plays turn 1 2 snowboarding enthusiast, and then proceeds to spend most of the rest of the game playing not mid attacks.
Yeah, the deck has like 11 mid attacks.
Lies.
And I happen to draw the cat spikes and Mary turns.
Like, I think there was Dancing Flash and Skull Barrier, and I don't think there was anything else that was a mid.
Well, let's
I
get to
posted the
work.
list so you can check it out if you want.
Okay. But yeah,
Let's
go.
get to work looking at the deck list from the weekend.
Oh, we are?
Aren't we going to? We always do.
So where do you guys want to start? I mean, I think that we have a couple stories of the event. We obviously have the winner. Pardon me. We have Tim Keefe's Life Ringman playing, a really remarkable game, taking advantage of Not Over Yet, which is a card, which I gotta say, like, its time in the limelight must not be over yet because it's just showed up. If it's got 15 minutes of fame, it's still got 15 more minutes left. And we can talk about. We can't really talk about like Jeffrey Kahn's Snake Man or Satoshi or Lord Raptor or Mai or
Well,
Yellow
let's
Devil.
start at the beginning. I mean, a lot of these are going to be fairly brief, I think. Shane Duckworth's Gemini Man deck, I don't think that's really changed much since he first came out with it.
Has he actually posted it recently? I don't think he's played it in an event recently.
I remember net decking his deck from somewhere in a lot
Yeah.
of things
Michigan,
he
I think.
I can't
Yeah,
remember where I found it.
looked really similar. The big changes I see is actually in his sideboard. Because I remember not neck decking those cards. Waves of Blood, I remember after I played it at Poughkeepsie, saying that I was very disappointed not to have had that card in my deck.
Sean
Yeah.
O'Brien, making us seem like we're all net deckers.
Sean O'Brien is a shameless net decker. It's okay.
I have no shame.
He runs a freaking store. He doesn't have time to like test.
No.
I think
So-
this is a hard deck to net deck too, because I mean it's very finely crafted for exactly what he wants to be doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think when I tried to play Shane's deck compared to the games that I watched him play at the 2K, I was being, I think, a little more aggressive than Shane
Yeah.
was.
It seems
I
like
mean,
a
I
very
did see-
defensive deck.
I did see him turn to Andrew Force twice though in the final round, but
Don't let Andrew here talk about that. He's
just a mess of a match.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that. I heard the one way he killed him was he went Kuga, and Andrew Force decided to tap out completely to block it with an Agile, and then to cheat the Agile down, which is a fine play if you think your opponent doesn't have anything. But then Shane goes Curse Splat, which he has 4 of, so sure. Plants Foundation, next card, and Risk Progress.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose Kevin?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
We're experiencing some technical difficulties, so we're going to proceed on until Kevin comes back.
Yep.
So, yeah, it seems like those turns went really, really well. I'm just going to message Kevin real quick, let him know that we lost him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely like the deck. Gonna have Shane on tomorrow for Total Justice Gaming, but if he wants to make any comments here about his deck while he's watching, because I want to actually know about some of his choices, like how he got to all these 1-ofs and 2-ofs, why the deck is like 72 cards, which I feel, I don't know, it's a bit counterproductive. You want to get to your Gemini Men as quickly as possible, I would think.
Yeah, you'd think so. You know, there are ways to get to Gemini Man. He's got Narcissist.
Only 2 of them though.
Yeah, well, having played the deck, a lot of times I'm not happy to see Narcissist, especially if I don't have a way to have any Gemini Men.
It is a 2/5 with a no block.
Then the card just feels super bad.
I don't know. I feel like after I just ridiculed you for net decking, I definitely want to take this deck, and I think I want to try slimming it down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, your face is really big for the moment until we get him back.
Woohoo! Bring Kevin back. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't think there's a ton to say about the Gemini Man deck.
Yeah, if you decide to pick this deck up, play defensively. Try to build like 3 or 4. Try to build 4 foundations as for a lot of consecutive turns and try to lock up the win with a great deal of certainty before you go for it. You know,
moving on. Let's move on to something interesting. Let's look at Andrew Force's deck.
Lord Raptor, PhD. We've decided that Rochester now, from now on, when typing their writing out their deck lists, should add some sort of suffix. I was just
all our characters.
Yeah, I almost just I don't know why, but when I was typing up these deck lists, I wanted to put Yellow Devil Esquire.
Now I want to. Next time I play Clark, I'm gonna give him Clark, and then he's gonna have MS, and everyone's gonna ask what his degree is in, and I'm gonna say child psychology. The minor in pain. Suplex City, bitches. But yeah. So this deck, until this weekend, I did not respect Black Justice at all.
That card is a savage beating when he gets it going, especially if he does it mid-turn with something like a Hell Dunk.
Yeah, it's like build your own stun one.
Yeah, like a stun one that draws him cards, and you never get that foundation back.
I really like about it is
Uh-oh. We're
Okay,
losing
I guess
Sean
that's
now
just
too.
Sean acting up.
Yeah.
like I saw
No.
one game where his opponent had like a. I'm still here.
Okay.
I just killed my video feed. I'm hoping that that'll help a little bit.
All right.
I'm sure.
So
it will, yeah.
I'm sorry, everyone watching us. We're going to deal without both Kevin and Sean's faces for the night until we figure out what's wrong.
Or you're just not
Oh
gonna
no, I don't think anyone's gonna complain.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, probably not.
we don't have your face either, Kevin.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Still no?
It's loading it. There we go.
It's
There's
loading.
Kevin's face.
Okay, then I will just be a ghost.
You're a UFS card.
Chi Disruptor. No, I think
No.
I think I'm Peaceful Pathhold actually.
Yep.
Yeah, Peaceful Pathhold.
I love that card art. So I mean, looking at the rest of the deck list, it's a lot of the stuff that you'd expect to run in an air deck. I think.
Yeah, it's just
Summer Heat,
it's a
Stakes,
semi-aggressive
Dustmoon.
air deck playing a lot of card pool clearing to the Hell Dunk and Ultimate. Like you wait a little while to stack up a hand with like 3 or 4 attacks, and then you use Hell Dunk and Ultimate Undead to help churn through and find maybe 1 or 2 more on top of that, as well as the Shield Ram combo. And keep your card pool clear and just keep the damage flowing with the Raptor's ability triggering repeatedly.
Yeah, if he can
You
get
play
get
ahead.
multiple triggers, the Hurricane Upper could be so savage.
Yeah, Hurricane Upper is very, very good in this deck.
When those things are like 5 speed for 6s each, that's scary.
Yeah, and it can very easily just you play it as your first move. It's a 3 mid 4 who really cares. And you play a Shield Ram, and you have your momentum, and you just like play an Ultimate Undead and powerful 3 of them, and they die.
Imagine
That can
if
certainly happen.
we still had Living with Determination.
Yeah, it's a
OMG.
tragedy.
So I wonder if Andrew ever over the weekend did resolve an Ominous Whistle.
He did once or twice. I know he did it once against me, and I immediately caught red-handed it.
Yeah, no, this deck's actually extremely vulnerable to both card-handed and revoke. It actually can struggle a lot to kill you if you just stop it from
Doing its
turning
thing.
on bonus Raptor triggers. Yeah, and canceling Shield Ram is also, a beating.
Yeah. But I don't think there's anything too super shocking here. It looks like we got off symbol revokes.
Yeah, he boarded those in almost every round, apparently.
Yeah,
There's
it's a really nice insurance policy. As a 7 hand size with a relatively low life total, it's just good to have. Like actually playing against this deck, I played against it twice. I had sideboard revokes too, and I brought those in very quickly to stop those Hell Dunks and Ultimate Undeads from going off.
Looking at the third place deck, it was Tim Keefe Senpai. Hopefully he notices me. Playing Ringman off
Yeah,
of Light.
This deck was on camera once or twice, I think, right? I'm
Yes.
pretty sure it was the semifinals match, among
Yep.
others.
We'll have the recordings up for that. Hopefully this week, by the way. I figured out the videos do in fact actually have sound. It's just the original laptop they were on. The video player really sucked and was out of date. That laptop's hardly ever been updated, basically. And so now it's just editing out all the times that we left it on, and make sure that there's nothing said on there that shouldn't have been said.
So I just scrolled through really quickly, and as far as not going into like people multi-symboling ridiculously, but I just want to point out this is the only deck in the top 8 that is built off of all life or air, of which all 3 are represented, that is not playing Templar. And I think that's a choice that that many people are hesitant. Like people really love playing that card, and I think Tim Keefe's deck is nowhere near wanting it. And I just wanted to point that out to people.
Yeah,
No, it's incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I hardly ever play those symbols in the first place, but I agree with him that a 6-hander doesn't want to play something like Templar. Like Revoke is already, it's just that good that he still plays a few copies and the rest of them in his board. About this, but he doesn't want to play Templar in the deck because you're minusing yourself a hand size every time you hold on to that card in your hand and your opponent doesn't attack.
Yeah.
And when you're already at 6 hand size, you really don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, and again, unlike a lot of other decks, I don't know if you guys touched on this while I was offline. On the Gemini deck, who was playing something like 72 cards and only 18 attacks among those, Tim's playing 20 attacks, and I haven't actually counted, but I'm pretty sure it's a relatively normal sized deck.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I was talking to Tim after his matches, and he was wanting to, anytime he went against a 7-hander and he won the coin toss, he wanted to be packing their poop in on his turn 2.
Yeah, Ringman gives your second attack of the turn -2 difficulty, and so especially if you have not over yet, you can actually one play you can do is play any attack. Potentially a 60, potentially like a Moon Tracer or something. Play not over yet is your second form, and then build foundations. It says your next attack gets this bonus and ignores progressive difficulty. And then you can play a Hauryoken as your fourth or fifth card of the turn. After that, not over yet. Still ignore progressive difficulty. Still gets the Rig Band bonus, and so it's got +3 speed and +5 damage.
Yep.
And that can just be a really devastating start to your game as a 7-hand size.
Well, I
Yeah.
saw one of his games. I think he went like Venom Shot as his first form.
Yeah.
Tapped 3 of their cards, and they ended up half blocking, and committing out to save 2 damage. And then he went not over yet. Hauryoken.
He actually, in game 2 of our match on camera, during his first turn, when going second, he put me to 1 vitality.
Good lord. Was that like
I
a
was-
Moon Tracer, a not over yet, and some build, then an attack?
Yeah, he built like 1 card that entire turn, and then just savaged me. And I was like, I'm at 1. Our first 2 games on camera were about 5 minutes long combined. And then that last match took almost the entire rest of the hour.
Yeah, so
Wow.
there's 3 self-destructs in that sideboard, and that card comes in when people are trying to build a lot of foundations.
Yeah. He played all 3 of those self-destructs in that game. And by the end of the game, where I barely got out of there, I had like 40 cards in my remove from game zone. Something like that.
Wow. Moving on to our 4th place deck. It's Snake Man, played by Jeffrey Kahn, with some new tech. Some new tech that Mr. Kahn was caught cheating with. Or,
Yep.
well, not being cheating, but just being ignorant with on camera.
Yep.
In the top 8 match against Gutsman, he was playing, I think his name was Robert.
Yep, Robert Snyder.
And Robert, I know, is relatively new to UFS. And I was pretty impressed
really
when
impressive.
Giggles since he made. I'm impressed. First of all, he can make top cuts with Gutsman. And what else really impressed me is like when Giggles' attack was half blocked, and he went to respond with Give Up Yet, and just without even batting,
have no momentum.
and just without even batting an eye, his opponent's like, you can't play that because it has to be an unblocked attack. So kudos
So
to him.
It has 2 conditions on it. Your opponent must have 0 momentum, and you deal damage with an unblocked attack.
Oops.
Yep, he like play tested that card maybe once. We told him how it worked. We told him exactly how it worked and all these cute tricks that you could do with it. But apparently, he's got to actually play like 50,000 games in order for us to beat it into him.
So why are you still,
So
Matt? I know you had a big hand in building this deck. Why are you still playing 4 Jackets?
still playing. We went up to a 4th jacket.
What?
There are so many interactions, and the main thing why I still want that, and why it has 4 jackets, is especially with like the Kim deck going around and the Felicia deck going around, playing Ho-Oh E10 Kyaku, being able to discard all your momentum in a turn.
Mhm.
I wanted the deck to be able to gain all the momentum it needed to kill you all in 1 turn.
Okay.
So the idea of going like start a turn, Strength of Tail, Kyo's Jacket, tap one of their problem cards, and then play Murakumo, get a 3rd momentum. So that's 3
Yeah.
momentum out of nowhere at start a turn.
All right, fair enough.
Like it just,
Plus,
or just other things like
and if you have a Sweet Baby challenge, that just gets even better.
it's the one thing we wanted another reactive style, but it's a 4 check and there was just so little room as is in the deck. Yeah, the deck was basically designed to get as much momentum in 1 turn as possible and maximize out on all the effects that gain momentum. I think Kyo's Jacket is also a really good control card that hasn't been explored as much, where
yeah,
I
I
want to
mean, I
play
was actually
all these
looking at
momentum generation
I was
cards
looking at
with it.
Garrett Brett's deck from the Pro Tour, several moons ago, quite a few moons ago,
Mhm.
where he played Where There's Smoke, There's Fire, Tim Keefe,
Mhm.
with like 4 Chaos Jackets. And that was deck with Tim Keefe's response that triggers Jacket at the start of your opponent's turn, which is like the absolute best time to do it.
Yeah,
Um,
like I want to do a turn with some like chaos control deck where I half block with the Skull Barrier, respond with Reactive Style, respond with Kyo's Jacket, tap down one of your things, hit reversal you with this card, and then have the momentum up from out of nowhere in order to kill another attack.
yeah,
And then when you respect it and allow me to keep my momentum in Skull Barrier, I kill you with Chireto next turn.
sure. So you're gonna
So
build a Senko deck, or do you have a character in mind for this? Because
Nope. I mean, Hisenko is probably a pretty good plan. I got to play against Hisenko this weekend, and the interaction with Hisenko with bridging the races is just
it's good stuff.
it's obnoxious.
So moving on to the 5th place deck, Mason Schmidt made another top cut appearance with Mai.
Yep.
I tout this as like the deck that plays the most honest UFS in the room. I mean,
This
this
deck,
deck
this deck is like a callback to the old Dragon Lifter decks of yesteryear that just said, here's a big move, here's some stun cards, and just here's all the speed pump you could ever ask for.
Do you have Revoke? No, you're probably dead.
Do you have Revoke? It doesn't matter. That's just like -3 speed. I still have 6 more.
Yeah, this deck. The thing with this deck is making attacks really, really big and really, really fast. And the speed redux is just not as good as it was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, we still
Yeah,
have
you don't have a matter of heads and tails running around anymore to fight over.
no. I mean, right now your best speed reduction is Champion of Muay Thai
And Dustin.
and Dust in the Wind.
And here's the thing with both of those cards. Team Women Fighters. If you are one of those characters, you can one of the characters on that card, you can commit it to tap down their speed redux card.
Yep, you can trade your passion for glory.
That is makes me kind of want to play Mai.
I mean,
Yeah, man.
It's still got my foil one from that I was given to me when I first got back into the game.
I'm waiting to see, if Mason's able to continue innovating with this deck because he has continued to make changes. He's always tweaking it to get a little better, and it keeps performing better and better. I'd really like to see him win something with it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, his UFS is too honest. I think.
I think this deck, unlike Tim's deck, the Ringman deck, this deck actually isn't quite as aggressive as it appears, because you don't turn 2 people with +3 speed, +3 damage to 1 attack in a deck full of things that printed 3 and 4 damage. I think its wheelhouse is being this really resilient. Yeah, it's really resilient deck that kind of still keeps scaling up as it adds more speed and damage pumps to the board. You'll play a Hawaioken, they'll block it because it's going to gain you 5 life. They don't want to deal with that and deal a ton of damage, and then they'll have to tap their board down to block it, and then they'll give you a leave to sneak in another attack, or you'll reversal with Quick and Precise on a Curse Splat and add a ton of damage to that. Now I have to deal with that. Its resiliency is what really pushes it over the top.
Mason has said he's going to be working on a King deck, and I'm really interested to see what he does with it.
I want a King deck. Bear with me here. Without Tornado Kick.
I agree wholeheartedly. You play Curse Splat, Venom Shot, and Trap Shot just because it's so good as a reversal in her. And then you max out on stun and card advantage. You try to play a control deck. That's what I like anyway.
Mm-hmm. Moving on 6th place we have Hughes' Satoshi. I don't think we really need to talk about this. It's Rain Flush, Void, Hughes special. I mean, he's been playing that for like 8 months, so we can just skip discussing.
6 months. I made some few changes. I took out the Saranagiri because it wasn't really working that much. Cut down on rolling cutters and put in more Team K-Dashes. And then never even saw the the Kim deck because thankfully I got my wish this weekend where I just was hoping for the rest of the room to out meta him.
Wait,
And
did you say you cut Saranagiri and put in Team K for the Kim matchup?
it wasn't Kim. The Team K dash wasn't really for the Kim matchup. It
Okay,
was
I must have misunderstood.
like yeah, I was like it's. I cut it. I was gonna put Kien's in specifically for it,
Hmm.
but then Dan didn't show up to my house the night before. But I knew there was still a Kim deck coming. So, but
Yeah,
I kind of
he
just
had
decided.
the Kim deck actually had a squeaker against eventual champion Shane Duckworth.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was just kind of hoping for the rest of the room to out meta him, and that's exactly what happened on camera with Dragon Goddess.
Oh boy.
I actually saw that card and dismissed it because I don't like unless they're bonkers good like Templar. I don't like using a card unless I can use all of its abilities. So the adding speed to mids, since I don't have any mids in here, I disregarded the card.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I read the card and I like attached a like your turn rider to the front of it, and I never thought of using it defensively against people who play mid block attacks. Which, to be fair, there aren't a ton of. I mean, I think a lot of the good attacks these days have high and low blocks just because
Yeah.
those are the zones you need to block.
Mm-hmm.
But it's great against Kim.
Yeah, I won't lie. There's been very few changes. I'm gonna move on to better pastures.
All right, so
I'm
speaking
gonna
of decks with changes, how about this Yellow Devil deck? This is a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
different.
he completely changed the attack lineup minus Training Geyser itself.
Yeah, the
Um,
reason to play the character.
yeah, he wanted to just play quality attacks instead. Like Magnet Slam hits a lot better and has the +1 high block. Curse Splats got all of its usefulness and has the +1 low
Yeah,
block.
and it's absolutely awesome reversaling people with stunning
Yeah.
6 damage life gaining curse slats in this character.
Yeah.
Hurricane
Sagaki
Upper
offering.
is kind of an odd looking one if you're not like
Yeah.
deep in the zone. But the combo with this card is Merciless Master. So you Hurricane Upper a Trinity Geyser into your momentum, and then Merciless Master at the top of your deck, and then you figure out a way to draw it, and then you get a Trinity Geyser. And Trinity Geyser is so good, it's worth all that rigmarole.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this deck. I think this deck's going to continue to be out and about and beating people up for as long as Trinity Geyser is legal. I mean, the deck won Worlds this year in teams. Jesse's made 2 top cuts appearances with this deck now. I expect him to make the next time he plays to make another top cuts appearance with this deck. It's solid.
No.
I don't think it's able to win a tournament right now because it just feels kind of slow.
It's slow, and its other issue, which it doesn't completely rely on Trinity Geyser, but the fact of the matter is, Caught Red-Handed was the most seen card in the entire top 8, with 5 decks, I believe, running it at 4x.
Yeah, this deck it doesn't need Trinity Geyser to win in the sense that it's like you'll win games where you don't resolve Trinity Geyser, but to win, games where your opponent's playing a lot of defense and is really like kind of protecting themselves from all your magnet slams and curse splats, these attacks that start at 4 speed, you really need Trinity Geyser to go over the top of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Trinity Geyser still suffers from being very easy to block. So I think if people, play smartly, a lot of times they can adequately defend themselves against this. If as long as you can have a way to stop Trinity Geyser, have a way to minimize the damage you're taking from his other moves, you're kind of in a good place. But if you're doing that, it's also very difficult to win against Yellow Devil.
Yeah, and he can be extremely explosive. Like turn 2 Trinity Geysers are by no means impossible in this deck. I mean, it's got a couple cards to help with the progressive difficulty to play that, and just you can build 4 on turn 1 and then pass that 8 check pretty easily, or 9 check, I guess. But it never pumps anything out with consistency, and it's got cards in it to build the consistency as the game goes along, but it doesn't start with that, and so you may or may not have enough time to set up your walls. I played Felicia, and as you say, yeah, it's not that hard to block Trinity Geyser. Although Yellow Devil starts stunning your board out pretty good after he gets it going. It's a
Yeah.
question of getting damage once you're in that next 3 cards ignore progressive difficulty territory.
But let's look at the most interesting deck of the top 8.
Yes. The tiebreakers this tournament were tragic. I don't want to continue patting myself on the back, but I mean, I had a Chaos Lilith deck that's unlike anything I've seen before, and the 9th place deck was a good, simple, mature deck, which is a character that I'm not sure has actually topped anything, despite being the bane.
I thought it topped in Michigan last year.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah, Carrie
Last year
Burnell
was the
topped with
juniors.
it.
Yeah.
Yep, you're
Yeah.
You're right. Big
Yeah,
blow. Right after Big Blow came out.
Yeah,
got
it
him
was
out.
you, other Robert, and
Scott,
Scott.
Robert's friend from Maryland.
We're all 4-2s in your tiebreak. I mean, it all came down to tiebreakers, the strength of schedule, which
Yep.
was not close.
Yeah, no, I think I had like 10% away from catching Robert.
But Robert snuck in with Life Gutsman, which, if you think about it critically, isn't that surprising because Gutsman hits like a Mack truck.
Yeah, so I know I was talking to Tim in advance of this event about his Ringman deck because he had played that in Poughkeepsie and had just missed. And we were talking about how good stun is right now. People, have a lot of speed hate, but they're not necessarily ready for 3 or 4 attacks and getting their board tapped down and running out of all those resources. And that's why he was playing 4 Venom Shots, was that stun, just the Z-Mace Wheel Kick for 6 difficulty was a good card right now.
Fuck Z-Mace Wheel Kick.
Language.
This deck itself has 1 or 2 copies of Venom Shot, after sideboard or whatever. But it also makes every attack into a Venom Shot, more or less. Stun 2 gets in there.
Yeah. I've been discussing stun a lot as well with like Jeff and Jesse and Tim the other night. And it's the basic premise of like a lot of people were complaining about just Shining Blade in my deck with its annoying stun. And I was like, so what if I play a Fire Satoshi with even more stun
Matt,
and speed
you
pump?
gotta build these decks, man.
I'd actually want to build this deck, but now because I brought up Cutman, I'm being told to play Cutman first.
Play Cutman.
See?
Yeah, you play Cutman 2. Build Cutman 2.
The Cutman's built. He's sitting over here.
And then next
Fabulous.
week, build your Fire Satoshi.
Don't even wait
So-
until next week. Bring them both.
Look at this deck. Let's look at this deck. Summer Heat, I think, was really good to Gutsman in the games that I watched.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
Summer Heat's just really good.
It fixes his problems. It gives him more cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's bold playing a 5-hander in this meta. I mean, because you can get into rough shape getting your your staging area scooped by Ever Hopeful and company. And
Speaking
I
of
was
Ever
talk-
Hopeful, if I may, sorry.
Yeah.
Nobel Prize is the Nobel Prize for Robert here. Finding the card that stops your opponent from relooping Ever Hopeful on you. It disables the ability to play the response from the card pool, and locks you to only 1 Ever Hopeful enhance per turn.
yeah, that makes things survivable, I think, for 5-handers.
Yeah, there's only 1 in the deck, but I watched him do it to Jeff.
I think. I mean, I watched most of the Top Cut match between him and Jeff. I think his only error, I think Game 3 was staying as Ringman. I think Game 3 he should have switched back to Gutsman, especially going first. I don't feel like. I mean, Ringman I think is a good sideboard character, but I feel like he just doesn't have the alley oomph that Gutsman does. He doesn't tap down the board as well. He doesn't pack on damage as well.
Yeah, from a really broad strategic perspective, I actually might. I think that the Gutsman deck, or the Snake Man deck, might be one of the worst matchups for him in this Top Cuts. I could be wrong on that, just because, Snake Man's really good at just like really pounding on you and just having the ability to keep putting damage on the board every turn, and also dealing 40 damage in 1 turn if it comes down to that. And he has hyper bombs, right? Please tell me he has.
He has
Hyper
2 hyper bombs.
Bomb. Oh,
Only 2. But the big thing is, a fully multipled out Murakumo without playing any attacks before it is 25 damage.
yeah, it does 5. It does. Yeah, you get 5 more Snake Manis on top of it.
Yeah.
And then it does 25. You said so. You multiply that by add to that 5 times the number of attacks you've played before that this turn.
Yep.
So you played
Like
3
that's
attacks
why
before
we
that?
switched
40.
it. Yeah, that's why we switched it to more lower difficulty attacks, and that's why it's not as many hyper bombs. Because the idea is he wants to play like multiple magnet slams and or Yami Barais, followed up by that.
Yeah, so before we get completely off topic on this Gutsman deck, I mean it's a life deck a lot like the other. It's actually kind of almost makes a continuum between this deck, the My deck, and the Ringman in terms of how oriented they are towards reversals. You see, on top of not playing Templar, Tim's deck also doesn't play Kersplat, and I think that's just it just speaks to his dedication to really getting in there with huge attacks. This deck has not only Kersplat but also Aerial Ring Boomerang, which lets Gutsman kind of get this kind of not really a recursion thing because you just check attacks and put them in your hand anyway. He doesn't really. I'm not sure if he has a way to actually draw it off the top of his deck in a convenient fashion, but it allows him to stun 2 you on your own turn and also present this huge attack. And that along with a few copies of Quick and Precise, damage pumps like Kyokun Disciple, can really add up a lot of damage when you were expecting to just be poking his gigantic 32 vitality butt.
So, yeah, I really like this deck. I hope that he continues to play because I think he's got a real firm grasp on the game. We talked a little bit about earlier how he just without even blinking caught giggles.
Snap call, yeah.
So very, very exciting. I really like this top 8. I think maybe I'm overreacting sometimes about Ever Hopeful.
Hey man, check that scoreboard though.
Fair enough.
1 and 2.
Which is why I'm very glad that we're going to change topics quick because new prize support cards came out this week. And I'm very excited about the Hunt for Spiders and Dragons.
Is that card legal this month or is that card legal next month?
I believe it becomes legal next month.
Oh, that card's so good.
Yeah, I like the idea of, for those of you who aren't aware of it, who haven't seen it yet, it's a 3/5 with Chaos, Death, and Life. It says, in the card pool, : after you play an attack, flip one of your opponent's foundations, and then add this card to your staging area face down. So, play this first, play an attack, flip your opponent's Ever Hopeful, and don't get your board scooped.
Can I just draw a picture for you here real quick? So, you're playing against a life deck, and you attack them with a Hyper Bomb, let's say. A really good low attack, you're trying to stick it to them. They block with Spiders and Dragons, and then reversal Kersplat you, and then enhance Kersplat with Quick and Precise. Just go home. Just go home. It's done.
Now, it does have a second ability. Our flip, after your death or life attack deals damage, you gain 2 or your opponent loses 2.
Yeah, that's a
I like
nice
this
ability,
card.
but it's that ability will. I feel like that ability is it's like the Templar response to clear a punch from your card pool. It's a vestigal ability. No one will play it because you'll always want to get this card face down in your staging area to take away your opponent's resources.
Yeah. In addition to being 3 difficulty, 5 control check, it does roll a +3 low block.
And so yeah, my Lilith deck is going to be out of control with 4 copies of Powerful Assassin, 4 copies of this, and 4 copies of Dancing Flash, all to pick it up and loop it.
Lol.
You're not ready.
So- Sean,
Use.
since we have new prize support, does that mean we get Sebastians this week?
We will be getting Sebastians this week, yes.
Yay!
Woohoo, Sebastian!
Fire Satoshi might be put on the back burner.
Man,
Or
miss
I don't know.
Sebastian.
I'll be right back, guys. Excuse me for a sec.
See how it is.
Well, Kevin's away. Let's talk about our next topic of conversation. we do have an announcement from Jasco Games this week that you can now purchase champ packs on drive-through,
I can get my Basilio.
which means I am playing Basilio San Juan Cacalote this week.
Oh boy. That'll be interesting to see if he's actually good or not.
Well, you could
Um,
you could totally play him with Spiders and Dragons.
well, that's legal, but and I still wish his form worked a little bit differently. So that way I could combo Leona Blade every turn with him. That's one of those cards that ever since Marco like savaged me with it the first time I played against him, I've just wanted to play that card and abuse it. Which is basically the whole plan of the Fire Satoshi deck. Is to play 2 Leona Blades in one turn
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
on,
excited.
on combo.
I'm excited to see what you come up with for Basilio, Sean. I'm not sure. Not sure if I believe in him. So I hope to be proven wrong.
Not sure I'm gonna have time to actually build him this week though. It's already Wednesday and I have a full schedule. Special surprise to anybody who goes to the Chicago PTC. Kevin Broberg is going to bring a special surprise out to you. So make sure you see Kevin
Is it me?
It's not.
I'm gonna keep it in my pants until it's ready.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. It's definitely not me then. I mean, if
Yeah,
that's
you
the
would've said-
cost of getting free airfare,
We would definitely need to buy 2 seats on the plane for that.
So, I think our last topic of conversation tonight is the upcoming event schedule, which is looking very, very empty at this point.
You know, we got 3 events left, right? Until
I mean, it's almost the end of the year.
Yeah, we've
we
got
got
a PTC this weekend out in Rockford.
Yep.
Rockford, Illinois.
Kevin Broberg's going there.
I'm gonna eat some pizza.
They got really good pizza out in Illinois. The best.
I still eat it with my hands because I'm not a coward.
Then after the Rockford PTC in December, we've got on the 12th, we've got the Nashville PTC. Joe Tonello is probably going to that.
Just maybe.
Just-
Maybe hosting it,
Maybe.
you know.
And then the main event now, the next thing I'm traveling to is the World Championship out in fabulous Las Vegas.
January 15th through the 17th.
Good luck to everyone going to that. I have to
Despite winning a plane ticket, Hughes is not going.
keep my options free because I still want to go to Gen Con, and there's the chance to be going to Comic-Con this year. And that's on the list of conventions on my bucket list, so it ranks a few notches higher than Vegas. Especially since there's no longer a Star Trek experience there.
Nerd.
Yep, damn straight. Proud of it. Nerds are popular now.
So let's wrap things up for tonight. Good luck to Kevin Broberg and all the participants this coming weekend out in Rockford. I hope they have a good turnout.
Crush him.
I haven't figured. I haven't 100% committed to whether or not to what kind of deck I'm playing. Whether or not it's going to be.
Play Basilio.
Play Basilio.
I don't even have a Basilio.
Cut man.
Oh, I was going to build that like 3 months ago, and I never did, and I don't want to now. That was back when I thought Finale Rosa was actually good.
Wait, what? Now you think Finale Rosa's bad?
I don't think it's good enough. Not right now. Not
So-
with the support cards it has.
Good luck to all you people. We do have some new products available on RochesterCCG.com. For those of you who haven't had a chance to pick up the new staff cards, those are going up for sale on the site. So far, you can purchase such great and fair cards as Sean Canada, AJ Murray, David Horonske, Jason Horonske, Keegan Daniel A. Lily
Shay
Wiley,
Duckworth.
Nathan Scarvane Pruitt, and Thomas Kohler, and Dane Shuckworth.
I don't think I have a Thomas Kohler yet.
He's
So
got a
the-
picture with Santa Claus.
I understand
I
the intent
definitely
of
don't have
these
that one.
cards is kind of to even the playing field between accomplished professional players and perhaps the less practiced members of the Jazzle.
Then why is Shane's card the best one?
No, it is not.
No.
I will
Okay,
play. I will play you a
probably not.
10-game set against AJ Murray, and I will win all 10 of them.
Yeah, probably.
I want to play as Jason Horonsky. I want all my attacks to have powerful X. X equals my momentum. Where all my checked cards go to my momentum.
I want to play. Ooh, I know how to kill you. I'll be Pharaoh Man, and I'll somehow make enough checks and mill you out because all your cards go to your momentum.
All he has to do is play one attack and he gets his discard pile back, though, right?
Yeah,
It
that's
does
the
like
problem.
12. It does literally 12 million damage at that point.
I know. Lily's my favorite staff card because she has my favorite ability in all of UFS. Critical timing.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember the one time we played a Gambling Master tournament and Kevin and I cheated, and I gave him a Sean Candidate to put in his deck.
And then I played against the guy who bought a box with his Wandering Master ships, and I think I pulled it out. Even.
All right. Time to get out of memory lane. Let's call it a night, guys. We'll see everybody next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
And hopefully, people watching, I will see you this weekend in Rockford.